So we are here with the star of the night, the star of the movie, the star in the night sky that leads us to our way home. How are you, Brittney Rae?
The star of the night sky that leads us to the way home. I'm very good. Thank you very much. It's pretty hot in here.
Yes, it is. I have to say so myself. So, Brittney, this is, I understand, your second film.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
How does it feel like seeing a movie that you wrote, directed, and starred in?
I've seen the movie so many times at this point. I think the cooler part is seeing other people see it. I saw the movie before we made the movie. I saw it when I was writing the script, so it was like, it's really surreal to watch so many people watch it for the first time, especially people who worked on it, and making them happy and proud of it was really fucking cool. So, can I curse in this?
Hey, it's your movie. You can do whatever you like. Brittney, so we're at a time in Hollywood where we just realize how difficult it is for women to write films, to produce films, to direct films, to star in films. So you woke up one day and decided to do all three. What inspired that?
Well, women can do so many things with their hands and arms, and I think it's really good to, do those things as a human, not just as a woman. But yeah, like I'm really driven about female leads and female empowerment. Both films I've written have a lot of really like sexual females with sexual presence, and I think that's really important in like dominating females. This guy's making faces at me while I'm trying to be serious, but yeah, I think it's really important. I think it's really important. But yeah.
So before we talk about the film that we're here tonight for, can you tell us about the film that just recently came out as well?
Yeah, that was my film Kin. It was my first film ever. I wrote and directed. About incestual relationship between a girl and her cousin. It's pretty freaking cool. It was inspired by Mozart's Requiem, which is a song that he wrote when his father died. And I was going through some stuff with my mom. She was very sick, so it was something that kind of came from that. And it was cool. It's a really sad film and was very personal to me, and it was really hard to come out with it, and especially on the internet, and have a lot of people watch it. I was probably the most vulnerable at that point, but I think it's really important to be vulnerable and, take a risk like that.
So how did we go from Kin to Proximity?
Kin, if there was no Kin, there would be no Proximity. Proximity is like more of my actual personality, like in everyday life, and it's more lighthearted and fucking weird and quirky and just real. And Kin is more like introverted and like what really goes on in like a girl's head when she's going through things, and like darkness and what's inside. But Proximity is kind of like, all right, we're going to touch what's inside, but we're also going to be in this world too. Does that make any sense? Am I making sense?
You're making sense to me, but I've had a few glasses of wine.
Anywhere in the world.
So, Brittney, without giving too much away, can you tell us what inspired Proximity? What was your inspiration to writing such a serious, but I get what you say, also like a lighthearted film?
Proximity was inspired by Elvis Presley's Heartbreak Hotel. I play Mae Axton. Mae Axton and Ricky Herrera plays Tommy Durden, and they are two actual real people. They are the people that came together and wrote the song Heartbreak Hotel before they brought it to Elvis Presley. The song is about a man who jumped out of a hotel window when his fiance broke up with him, and he left behind a note that said, "I walk a lonely street." When I read that, I kind of got inspired, and I was listening to the song, and I was seeing, visions of these scenes and stuff. So I kind of just like went with that and kind of put a lot of myself into it, and some weird cat stuff. If you like weird cat stuff, you'll like this movie. But it was that's kind of where it started.
So Brittney, I know I keep mentioning that you wrote, directed, and starred in this film because it's freaking impressive, guys. What would you say was the hardest part?
Wearing all the hats and switching them on and off. Sarah's here. Wearing all the hats. I've done I've been an artist for a very long time. I was a photographer, and I've done video stuff. These are my first films that I wrote and directed, and I just started writing a couple years ago. But it was kind of difficult to have a cast and crew for the first time, and because I can manage people, and I do have that, but it's also difficult to do that, and plus the creative stuff, plus it was definitely, I learned so much because it was constantly being in the scene, thinking about I could not even think about my acting. If anyone has any compliments about my acting, it's literally I was just seeing it how I saw it the whole time. So.
And again, without giving too much away, can you tell us more about your character in this film?
My character's Mae Axton. She's half real. She's 25% real and 75% made up. She has an oral fixation. So she's always has something in her mouth. She had a weird childhood. Her mom was weird, and so she's a representation of how childhood really affects you as an adult, and how when you're a child and you go through things you're going to carry that your whole life, and you're going to, it's important to recognize that.
And you star with actor Ricky Herrera. How did you two come together?
Ricky Herrera and I are both actors from Miami. We met on a set in Miami in a web series, and he went to London, and he went to acting school there, and then he told me one day, he's like, I'm coming to New York, I'm going to move there. So when I was writing this, I kind of, for some reason, had him in mind for Tommy Durden. It's his look, and I was like, yeah, I think that'd be really cool only if he was going to let me put a unibrow on him, honestly, because I've had some actors that are I'm not wearing those pants, which I think is really stupid, but Ricky was super cool, and he was like, yeah, I'll wear a unibrow, whatever you want, whatever the character is. So I was like, okay, cool. If you wear a unibrow, I will give you this role. It's weird, and I want you to be in it. And I'm really happy that he was a part of it. He did such a great job. And I think we both learned a lot.
So Brittney, we have a lot of people watching at home, especially a lot of young people who want to do what you're doing, and especially to the young girls who are watching. If they want to get their foot in their door, they want to write a film, they want to produce it, they want to star in it, what would be your advice?
You can do anything you want. Once you understand that you can absolutely do anything you want, you can really do anything you want, and it's just about getting up and doing it. If you want it bad enough, you're going to do it. It doesn't matter if it's writing, directing, producing. It doesn't matter if it's acting. I don't care what it is, really. You can do anything, and I think a lot of people struggle with that, and the people who do understand that and know that get to do what they want, and they do it. And it's just about that. It's about understanding that, whether you're a girl or a boy or whatever you are, it doesn't really matter as long as you know that. I would love to see young girls and women filmmakers, or just women in general. I'm very on board with the women empowerment movement, and I just support girls so much, and all I can hope is the support of women in return, and that's what I care about mostly overall. So yeah.
And also, what I found really cool is speaking to some of your castmates. When I ask, how did you end up working with Brittney, or how did you guys come together, a lot of people are like, Instagram, she messaged me. Would you say social media has been a game changer in the film industry?
Absolutely. I'm very present on Instagram. I am very stupid on Instagram. I make a lot of friends. A lot of my actual in real life friends are from Instagram. I'm very good at networking with my thumbs. And I love Instagram for so many reasons.
And if people want to find you, how could we find you on Instagram?
Brittney Rae all day. I probably look so bad in this whole thing. I'm like,
no, you look great from here, and I'm sure our cameraman would agree, or camera woman actually.
Woman, and that's Elle, and she's an amazing filmmaker, and she's a fucking badass herself.
And I guess to end this interview, I just want to ask, do you have any plans that we should be on the lookout for, or any projects that you're working on that you could tell us a bit about?
I have some big, big, big plans for 2019, so big that I cannot share them. But I have written about 5 micro shorts, very similar to Proximity, and a pilot, and working on a couple other TV and film opportunities, and I can't say anything else. But yeah, 2019 is going to be very, very cool, and thank you for being here and supporting Proximity, and yeah, thank you.
Well, I look forward to seeing you at the film festivals for Proximity, and thank you for having us.